What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Charlo. We back again with the Conversation to Be Had podcast. Another episode. Oh my goodness. I want to thank everybody, everybody that's subscribed in the last few days, last few weeks. We really appreciate it. Hit that like button, hit the dislike button if you don't like it. But, everything counts. Be sure to comment because, that's what it's all about. The conversation, to be had. We need to talk and get things hashed out, and maybe we can come to a solution as a people, as a community. That's what we're building here. We edutainment. We're trying to educate the masses with entertainment. So let's go. Today, we're gonna get into cyberbullying. With the school year starting, these kids are, have got more access to the internet, and pretty much everything they do is on the computer anyway. So we're going to take a look at cyberbullying. I'm going to bring in the guys. We're going to chop it up and talk about it. What's up, guys?
What's going on? What's up, SL?
Yo, what's to it, gang?
Man. So with the school year starting, guys, we're going to get into cyberbullying. This is a topic that you brought to my attention, Rashawn. I wasn't really, it really wasn't on my radar until you brought it to my attention and said you had some information on it that you'd like to share. So, we're going to talk about it. Y'all want to get into what cyberbullying is, You want to talk about it, Rashawn?
Yeah, so with the invention of, like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and things like that, you're starting to see cyberbullying, something that we didn't have to deal with as a youth. We didn't have any of that. So when my children started going to school, it was something that was new to me. So some of the things I've been seeing is when it comes to cyberbullying, they say almost like 60% of teens have experienced some form of cyberbullying. Girls are more likely to be victims than men. And it's exploited basically through, like I said before, social media programs such as Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. It's becoming a real problem in schools as the children are growing. They have more access with the phones and the computers and everything like that. So I think this was a good topic for us to touch into, especially like you said, Charlo, with the school year starting. So I'm interested in seeing, what we bring to the table here, brother.
Okay. It's defined as a form of bullying or harassment that uses electronic means to intentionally harm, intimidate, or embarrass another person. Forms include spreading rumors, sharing embarrassing content, harassment, impersonation, or exclusion. So that's the technical definition of it.
And that's what you wanted. That's what you wanted me to do. Like just define
exactly. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Now I went online and I was trying to find information on it. As you can see here on the screen, there isn't much. Like when you try to do research on the topic, there's not a lot of research on it as far as laws and stuff. That too, it depends on where you live at. If they have any laws to combat that. So, I really don't have much I could put into that subject because I would have to be more educated on it. Because there's really not much, if you just go online, there's really not much you can find out on it.
Well, fortunately for us, we have somebody here that is up to speed on cyberbullying. Well, I got my guy named Shag Lowry. We grew up together. We went to the same schools. Shag is big into elevating and doing good in the community that we grew up on. He's focused especially on the youth. He has a web-based application called My Pal Schools that offers students, parents, staff, and the community members an effective way to report bullying. So I want to introduce Shag. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, gentlemen. I'm doing great. Look, I thank you all for having me here today. To have an opportunity to break this down to the people, to you all, and just educate people a little bit more about this bullying, cyberbullying, and other stuff we got going on in these schools, because, you know, we all come with that old school mindset, like, man, just shake it off. But it's a whole different day now, and the kids are totally different too.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about too, man. We didn't grow up with any of this. You know, in our day and age, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have Instagram, we didn't have social media. So this is kind of all new to us. So this would be a great time to, you know, get some information out to the parents such as ourselves. We want to learn. So I appreciate you being here, brother.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right.
It's like I told you in the pre-production meeting, Shag. When I looked at bullying, I didn't really consider, like, if there was no physical contact, I never really considered that bullying, and that's just because you know, I know when I grew up, we didn't have access to all the cell phones and the computers and all that other, you know, stuff that the kids have access to today. So I understand that. But if, like I was saying before we brought you on, if you try to research this, it's not a lot of research on it. So I'm kind of wondering, you know, if you could share with us maybe some statistics, or, you know, how prevalent is it, or is it a big deal? Is it just, you know, is it growing? Is it, you know, is it something we should be watching out for? You know, if you could get into that for us. Okay. Because I really don't know nothing about it. I'm just keep it honest with you.
Well, so let me break it down for you. Let's start with a story real quick about a situation that caught up with me, okay? So went to school in the south suburbs, of course, Richie's, and my senior year, I was taking a chemistry class, and I used to bully this girl in that chemistry class, okay? I would harass her every day, you know what I mean? She was a sophomore, I was a senior, and her eyes were kind of yellow and stuff like that, so somebody had been going on with her kidneys, whatever. So I used to tease her every day, okay? I'm 18, so you figure she a sophomore, she about 15. Then I graduate, go to University of Wisconsin, doing my thing there, get removed from college for having my own profit business, got to come back to the house. So come back to the house. Everybody know the local college is Prairie State. So sign up for class for Prairie State. I'm at Prairie State. All the buddies who didn't make it that first year, that first semester, that first 2 years, they're at Prairie State. So I'm like back home again. So get all my registration information. Go to the bookstore. They had B. Dalton bookstore. I know y'all remember, that's old school.
Yeah.
Going to bookstore, man. The bookstore packed to the brim. So I'm in the bookstore, man. See this little honey, right? Man, I'm like, man, shorty fine. So I say, hey, mama, what's up? You know, man, we got to kick it or something. Can I take you out for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? She look at me, man, get the screaming to the top of her lungs. Get the hell away from me. And I'm being nice with that part. But she's screaming, cursing me out, right? Security guard come over and say, hey, my man, you got to bounce. I'm like, dude, I ain't even got my books yet. What are you talking about? I got to leave, man. Tried to holler at shorty. She on some other stuff. Like, you got to go. Okay, fine. So I'm like, damn, I got outside the bookstore. I'm like, dang, man, what was that about? So 2 days later, we got this Black Student Union. So let me join Black Student Union. So I go to Black Student Union. I'm like, man, okay, there go shorty from the other day. Maybe it was my cologne. Maybe I was wearing some Brut or some Fahrenheit or some Dracar or something that stank, right? So I said, let me go holler at it again and say, man, you know what? Hey, mama, I don't know what happened in the bookstore. Maybe it was my cologne. Maybe it had garlic on my breath. But just want to make it right with you. She look at me again, screaming to the top of her lungs again, cursing, screaming, everything. But now this time, a counselor grabs us. Counselor get both of us. She cursing me out all the way to the counselor's office. So we get in the counselor's office. So the counselor say, ma'am, calm down. I'm going to let this man talk and tell me what happened. So just like I told you all, I said, man, I met shorty in the bookstore. She was looking fine as ever. Tried to shoot my shot. She jabbed. Saw the Black Student Union. Tried to apologize for whatever I did in the bookstore, which I didn't know. She jabbed again. I said, man, shorty got something going. Shorty crazy. Man, she said, ma'am, what's your story? She looked at me. She turned her head and she say, Shagman Lowry, you don't remember me? Now, mind you, think about the story I just told all y'all. I never once told her my name. Not once. So she like, you don't remember me? You don't remember when you used to tease me in that chemistry class and make me want to go home and ready to kill myself because all them jokes you had talking about somebody like they peed my eyes or squeezed lemon juice in my eyes and all that? You don't remember that? And I was froze right there, man, gentlemen. I was froze, man, for real. You talking about death? Man, I died right there on that day. I mean, my soul left my body because, mind you, when I was teasing, I was 18. By the time we having this conversation, I'm damn near 21. I don't even remember what I did, okay? So ultimately, man, all I can do is apologize because that's the younger version of me, but I come back, I'm a whole different person. And that's the problem with this bullying and this cyberbullying and stuff, because when people do it, they forget they did it. Now, ultimately, for me, I was able to apologize over 200-some thousand times, and I was able to be forgiven by her, you know what I mean? But how many people have situations where they don't have that opportunity to go ahead and get it right? You get what I'm saying? So when we talk about all these workplace shootings and stuff like that, that stuff ain't random like that, man. Something triggering these people. So I always ask people this, all four of us. I'm willing to bet if I ask all four of us, man, what was the first meal we ever ate as a kid? We wouldn't remember. I'm willing to bet if I say, man, what was the first car we remember riding in? We might remember a little bit, but barely. But I'm willing to bet if I ask you all four of us, who was the first person that ever bullied us, we always remember that. And that's how it stays with us. So a lot of times, coming from our era, that them 70s babies, we like, man, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. But we don't realize how the trauma stays with us. So now the trauma moves forward with us, and we still got it. So now you think about workplaces. You got this boss, he want to fire everybody. You got this other boss, they want to control everything. These are all traumas that could have came from when they were children. So now a lot of those traumas are called ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. And a lot of us have those ACEs, okay? We got stuff that we saw as a shorty that we never got counseling for, or our parents never talked to us about it and broke it down. So we take them traumas all the way with us now. So now when we talk about the bullying, okay, you got the physical bullying, okay? I'm grabbing you up, I'm shaking you, I'm chasing you home and all that. Let's talk about the cyberbullying. Now, the cyberbullying is bullying on steroids because guess what? That gives us an opportunity behind the mask, because if I step out this camera for a minute, I can be typing about one of y'all, and guess what? You don't even see a face. You don't even see a face. And it's snowball, and it's snowball, and it's snowball. Like, heart. Smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, shock face, shock face, shock face. And that's where we get into what you call the dopamine effect, okay? And dopamine is a hormone in your brain. We all got it. If I tell you all right now, man, you gentlemen are running an amazing podcast right now, that just triggered a dopamine effect. All three of you all had a reward sense in your head, like, man, that's dope, man. That brother gave us credit. He gave us our props. And that's a dopamine effect. So it registered in your brain that, hey, there's some kind of reward going on here. So now you think about when you go to the casino, right? What you hear? Ding, 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 ding. Dopamine effect. When you hear you won a trip to Las Vegas, dopamine effect. Hey, you're going to receive your first house, dopamine effect. These are all reward sensors that trigger in people's brains. So now when you get online and you're harassing somebody or bullying somebody online and you hiding behind the screen, okay, you click, oh man, you fat, click. One person like it, dopamine. Two people like it, dopamine. Three people like it, dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. And they just keep registering your brain like you just won the lottery almost, okay? And you got this dopamine effect. But the problem with dopamine is this. Dopamine effect has two sides to it, okay? And that's what the statistics won't tell you. It's two sides. See, if I'm getting my jollies off on bullying all three of you gentlemen right there, you also can have a dopamine effect too, even though you're being bullied or cyberbullied, and that dopamine effect is to get the hell away from you. You get what I'm saying? So now, if I'm harassing y'all on y'all page 24/7, I'm getting dopamine. People like, yeah, man, he harassing them. Look how he harassing them. But y'all getting dopamine effect to say, we're going to start another page and we're going to get away from them. That's triggering you all as well. So when we talk about this cyberbullying, it's tough because nobody want to say, man, you know, I'm about to take my own life because I've been cyberbullied. You know, nobody want to say, man, that game of Call of Duty, man, I just lost. It's bothering me, man. I'm thinking about ending it all because we don't know what's going on in people's brain. So when we talk about this bullying, cyberbullying with these kids now, we got to talk to them and be very specific with them and say, hey, man, is there anything you want to tell me? Anything you want to talk about? Even with these teachers, because we had this breakdown, right? We got the Generation X and then we got the millennials, okay? Me, man, shake it off, man. You know, you got to be tough. But somebody else might say, no. Ain't no shaking it off, man. That really hurt him to his core. Somebody told him he sucked at that game. That hurt him to his core. And with the children being so sensitive now, man, they might say, you know what? It's over with now. So now as a parent, what do you do, man, if your child is thinking about removing themselves from this earth because somebody behind a screen they couldn't even see was harassing them? So when we talk about the cyberbullying, that's how serious this thing is. So when we get to the situation of why I make this school safety app, in 2019, had a situation where I was teaching at a school in the South Suburbs. I'm gonna leave them anonymous, and I'm teaching a computer programming class, and I'm teaching, and I got a student back there. She doing all this. I'm like, man, little baby got the exorcist up in here, man. What's wrong with her? So at the class, she said, Mr. Lowry, little Johnny got a gun. I'm like, he got a gun. She like, I heard him cock the gun. I heard him cock the gun. He was telling this boy that the ops, when he got off the bus, was bullying him. He gonna blow their doors off. So I go to the school. And I tell him, I'm in the administrative office, and I say, hey, man, here's little Johnny's name. Here's his ID number. Here's his class schedule. Y'all got to find him. It's a walking gun in here. Took them 2.5 hours to find him. By the time they find him, they interrogated him for 30 minutes. He tell them where the gun was at. So now we have a special school board meeting. He gets expelled. We have a teachers union meeting, and I'm sitting there thinking like, man, at the time, I had a senior and a freshman in the building, okay? And I'm like, man, this kid could have took me offline. Could have took one of my children offline. He could have took one of my students offline. He could have took one of the staff offline. I'm just thinking. So it's another teacher, and she on Amazon, and she going to work. I'm like, man, what is she looking at, man? This is a serious situation. She like, yeah, man, I wonder when my cat food gonna be there. And I'm like, yo, cat food. You worried about cat food, and Shorty just had a Glock 40 in my classroom. Could have blew my doors off. Worries about some cat food. So we had words. I said a few explicits to her, and she said, well, with your smart ass, why don't you make an app? I said, you know what? I'm going to take you up on it. I'm going to make this app, man. So I start on it. I'm like, what I'm going to call it? So I'm like, damn, I got to give it a name. So MyPal, MyPal, My Personal Alert Levels. That's what the PAL spells out, school. So my personal alert levels pretty much as school. And I got it started. I asked 171 people to roll with me. I said, man, I got this school safety app. I'm going to make a difference in these kids' life. And the cyberbullying is real. I ain't going to say they all blew me off. I'm going to say some people told me, hey, man, you know what? Wish you the best. Some people said, yeah, that's a good idea. I don't want no parts of it. Some people say you crazy. Some people say you're out your mind. Some people said good luck. But only one person pretty much rocked with me. Hold on, I'm right here. So I'm going to switch this camera. But only one person pretty much rocked with me. And she gave me some ideas about it. And I just continued to go with it. And I kept rolling with it, man. I just kept rolling with it and kept moving with it. And then now here we are, 170 schools in across 7 states making a difference.
Damn, your app is in 170 schools?
Yes, sir.
I had no idea. I checked it out. I went online, I checked it out, and there's a world of information on here that needs to be out there. So, like, I was looking at it because, like Charlo said, I didn't know anything about cyberbullying, but I think I found most of my information on it from your website, from the MyPal School, to be honest with you, brother.
Oh, yeah. So when we talk about, you know, making that difference, man, it makes a difference, a huge difference, because like I say, you know, we don't talk about this stuff, man. You know, the bully behind the screen, man. I mean, you know, what do you do? I mean, think about it. We all guilty of playing Madden, talking crazy to somebody. We don't know how they look, but do we know how that's going to affect them directly when you think about it? You know, how did that affect that man? You know, you told him he sucked at that game. What was he thinking about when he got offline? You know, was he thinking about taking you offline? Was he thinking about hurting himself? Was he thinking about hurting a family member? We never know. And that's the thing about it. Like I say, that cyberbullying is an invisible person saying whatever they want to you. And what can you do?
I didn't even think about it in the frame of video games. I just thought Facebook, social media, the Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I didn't even think about the fact, because my kids play video games probably, I don't know, 50% of the day, 40% of the day. And I didn't even think about the fact that cyberbullying could be really prevalent on those video games, because they're in those big chat rooms and stuff. Call of Duty, NBA. I mean, did you guys think about that, Charles or SL?
I got a little pushback, man. And it's, you know, like when he talked about the girl, like him talking about the girl in high school. I went to Rich Central. You went to Rich East, didn't you, Sean?
Yeah, I went to Rich East.
Yeah, he went to Rich East. You went to Rich East. I went to Rich Central. Where you go, SL?
I went to Creek.
Oh, okay. Creek?
Mm-hmm.
Oni? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you know how that area is. We played the dozens like it was a sport. It was a whole different sport. Like, what he was doing to her, I mean, now in this day and age, it's considered bullying. Back then, it was called CAD. And this is the way I feel about it. Like, there does come a time when you're doing too much, like when you're taking it too far, But as parents, we have to train our child a little bit to have some type of thick skin. When you get out in this world, people are not going to tell you how lovely you are every day. They're most likely going to be harsh too. So if you train them to be timid and fragile towards any type of comment towards them, good, but like he was talking about with the dopamine and stuff, good, bad, or different. I mean, when they get to be adults, how strong of a self-esteem do they have then? You understand what I'm trying to say? I mean, I don't know how to put it, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you got to be have a little bit more thick skin than that. You know what I mean? Where everything somebody says is gonna, it should make you want to unalive yourself. I mean, like, you understand what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be insensitive.
No, I understand what you said. I think I disagree. You know what I mean? I don't think it has to be one or the other. I think that you can still make your children have a thick skin, but at the same time show empathy towards other students. So one thing that I teach my kids is you don't know what another person is going through every day in life. You know what I mean? You don't know. You don't know if that kid woke up and didn't have breakfast, or he woke up and his parents were fighting and stuff like that. You don't know. So it's best to lead with kindness. That's what I teach my children. But that doesn't mean that they're weak or that they can't take catting or anything like that.
I'm not. I'm talking about towards them. I'm not talking about the way they interact with others. I'm just saying where because I grew up in that era. Like, if you had on some buddies, cats was gonna talk about you. Yeah, they was gonna roast you. Like what he was saying, that was so normal to me. You know what I mean? It was so normal to me. I mean, now it's looked upon as bullying, but we looked at it as competition.
But you don't think that. But you don't think that maybe, you know what I mean, now that we have more information and knowledge as to what this type of stuff does to children, that the degree of which it happens, or the definition changes now, I mean, back in the day, people didn't know what autism was. They just thought kids were crazy. But now they're learning about more and more about it, and you're able to diagnose it. Well, the same thing with bullying. Yeah, it was normal to us, but we didn't really understand the effects and trauma that they bring. And they're seeing that now.
Is that me bullying? Really, if I don't put my hands on you, and I say, man, Rashawn, you got a big ass head. Is that really bullying? Even if I say it every day, Rashawn, big ass head, Rashawn, is that bullying me really?
I think it depends on who it comes from. If you my boy, nah. But if it's somebody like I don't know and they're just constantly doing it, then yeah, it might get under my skin. It depends on who it is.
Okay, what do you do about it? What do you do?
Well, here's the thing. If it's consistent, you know what I mean? It's consistent. I mean, like, are we building you up? We tearing you down. If I say, hey, man, and your father, man, he can't keep a job. He can't keep a job. You see what I'm saying? What kind of effect is that building? You know what I mean? And that's why I tell people you got to have these groups. You know what I mean? Because, hey, just think about this, Chalo. How many times I'm going to talk about your grandmama before you jap? You know what I mean? How many times I say, man, your grandmama, man, her grits look nasty as ever. You know what I mean? How long before you jap about it? You know what I mean? So when we talk about this bullying, in the end, Chalo, think about this. 6'5", 250. You know what I mean? So now what you going to do? Now we got a 3 o'clock high situation. We all remember how that movie played out, but what do you do? Who do you tell? So, Chalo, let's just say, for example, me and you fight it out, okay? You got my respect. I stopped doing it. But let's just say me and you don't throw them hands, okay? And you take it with you. And you take it with you from first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, all the way through. Let's say you get to college, right? And you still got them traumas, right? You get a job. So now guess what? The bully becomes the bully. So now you at the workplace and you throwing stuff around. Hey, man, I'll fire everybody up in here. You like, dang, man, Mr. Jones over here tripping over here. He won't stop. But what was his trauma? You see what I'm saying? Because Chalo took that bullying with him from day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, because he never spoke up for himself. So I get what you're saying, man. I'm with you. You got to have that tough skin, but you got to know who you're dealing with. You see what I'm saying? You know, Chalo, look, man, if you cooking soul food, do you really need to be in the northwestern part of the United States with it, or should you be on the East Coast with it? So pretty much you got to know your audience. But like I said, you know, it go down to these teachers breaking it down, man. Are we building each other up? We tearing them down. Because I had a kid, man, I never forget, man. This ain't funny, man, but he had some bogus ass mics on, okay? Bogus had them, he had some red 11s. His was orange. Man, them kids had a Def Comedy Jam on Shorty, okay? Shorty somehow,
of course.
Shorty somehow got from Rich South High School, the Country Club Hills, okay? And I'm teaching summer school. He got the Country Club Hills, but he came with a whole new pair of shoes. I'm like, dang, I'm talking about like 20 minutes. So it must have been that serious to him for him to say, I'm going to run all the way to Country Club Hills, change shoes. I mean, because they cooked them up in there. You see what I'm saying? What kind of effect will that have on him, though? Now, buddy see these cats and as a grown man, well, he said, man, that's that dude that bullied me right there. You know what? He the ops now. You know what? Let me jam him up. Let me get that banger and jam him up, because you never know how it affected them. So Chalo, that's the hard part about it. We don't know how it affects people. So now we got to teach the kids, hey, man, be cautious with your words, man. They'll come back and get you, because, hey, you teased Buddy, but he ain't forgot my bookstore situation. That could have played out different. Let's just say Shorty had a banger and blew me down. They're going to say, oh, man, this woman killed this dude, who up the bed, and they'll never know the backstory. So when we talk about crime and situation with these school shootings and stuff in the city, man, they never know the backstory. The news just tell you what happened, okay? But what happened, you know what I mean? What was the backstory? What made that kid come to school and blow everybody down? You know what I mean? Was it some predatorial stuff going on? Was it some bullying stuff going on? Was it some stuff going on at the crib? Because you never know. So that's what makes it so dangerous, because we tell the kids to have thick skin, but we got to tell the kids, hey, man, listen. Remember everybody had that Maryland Manson kid. Remember, okay, SL went to Creek. Me and Rashawn went to East. Okay, Chalo, you went to Central. Everybody had that Maryland Manson kid, but y'all was real cautious about teasing Buddy. Am I lying? Everybody was cautious.
You ain't lying.
Well, see, not me. See, I'm older.
Right.
None of that hadn't happened. We call them burnouts, because when I went to West Central, my first year, you could smoke. We had a smokers lounge,
right,
where you come in the bus. So all the burnout, we called them burnouts, would be sitting there smoking their cigarettes in their black leather jacket with the gothic stuff on. And, we would, do our roast on the way, into the school, whatever. And but that was just being a kid. I mean, right. What I'm saying, I totally agree. Like, when you keep pushing it on one person constantly, nonstop, that is bullying. But these kids are really, they're socially inept. And I think that contributes a lot to this whole craze where you could let somebody, what they say, really, do you like that?
But Chalo, here's the thing, though. It's like, think about your parents. They build you up, they tear you down. You know what I mean? So now, Chalo, we never know how to affect people, but certain things really hit people to their core. You know what I mean? Like, prime example, Chalo, when I came from the city to the suburbs, okay, I saw a guy get murdered. That's what brought us to the suburbs. I saw a guy get murdered before my eyes, okay, Chalo? It was nothing to me, man. I was like compartmentalized in that mental arena where most kids would flip out. I was like, damn, Buddy got smoked. You see what I'm saying? So now I'm desensitized. So now I pretty much need counseling. You know what I mean? So, Chalo, when we talk about it, like, now I'm like, man, they like, man, you getting bullied? I ain't worried about it, man. You see what I'm saying? Because it don't affect me like it's supposed to affect me, because I have ACEs. I got childhood experience traumas. So, Chalo, when we talk about now, you know what I mean? How do those traumas show their head now? Because I say, think about these workplace shootings, man. Let's just use United Healthcare. Buddy blew my man down. CEO blew him down 6 a.m. Didn't think twice about it, okay? So you think he just blew him down because he didn't know him? No, man, this man plotted this out. So what was it that made him blow him down? Now, if you look at Luigi's background, they say he was bullied, all this and all that, but apparently he had enough from his childhood all the way up as an adult. And he said, hey, man, I'm going to clip the CEO. I'm going to get everybody attention. So now, who's safe from this, Chalo? Who's safe? You know what I mean? When you think about it. So now, we just got to tell these kids, man, you got to be cautious about it, man, because Charlo, what if your son and your daughter bullying somebody, he come back and say, you know what, night, Charlo, you going to be like, damn, how could he do this to my baby? You see what I'm saying? But what was your baby doing on the flip side? You know what I mean? You know, so, you know, our parents always tell us, man, you got to raise a child in the way you want them to go. You know what I mean? So, you know, we got to just educate these kids. Like I say, these ain't the same kids we are, Charlo, because if you look at, like I say, at our age group now, we got cats power tripping at the job. You know what I mean? You got some cats you working with, man, they power tripping like hell. You like, dude, what's wrong with this dude, man? You know what I mean? Be the littlest dude at work, power tripping. But guess what? He never had control when he was a shorty because he was always bullied. So now he got control at work. He gonna act a fool.
But
he gonna let you
see,
know.
This is what I'm saying. Like I still revert back to like when we was kids. And like I said, I'm a little bit older than y'all.
Right.
So like the whole thing is, if you felt like I wasn't cadding and I was bullying you,
right, then
it's your duty right then to come at me in a different type of fashion. Like, we're not cadding no more. I said, you know, I'm not putting, you know, that's enough. And, you know, blah, blah, blah. And you got to take it to a different level. Like, you got to have enough moxie to do that. Like, that's how you're going to have to be in the real world. Like, if you don't want nobody to say what they say about you, if you ain't willing to pop them in the mouth and shut them up, they can say whatever they want as an adult in the free world. I'm not talking to kids. I'm saying right. As an adult, that's how it works. Like, and you can be hurt all you want, and, you know, want to end your life all you want. But in the free world, no one goes to jail for telling you how they feel. You just got to not come outside then if you don't want to hear them tell you what they think about you. And I want to say something about, like, this in general. Like, you have to, if you're going to address this issue, you have to draw some type of lines, especially in the society that we're in today. Because, and I'll use an example of when my son was 10 years old. Okay, he had some friends on his baseball team that got suspended for school because they were making fun of a girl who identified as a cat. And they're 10 years old. So, like, they're automatically going to look at you and know, no, you're not a cat, you're a little girl. And you shouldn't have to subject their psyche to, no, you got to help her identify as a cat, because that ain't normal. You know what I mean? So if you feed into that, that's messing up the whole, you know, cycle of how our society is. Like, you punishing them because they making fun of this girl who thinks she a cat, because now you're saying she has the right to think or feel like a cat. And that's absolutely absurd to me. So I'm saying, like, if you're going to address this, you got to kind of like put a limit or something. There's got to be some guidelines. It can't just be, you can't say nothing about nobody, or kids can't make fun of each other or nothing. It's got to be, you know, some sort of like guidelines to it.
And Charlie, I'm all the way with you, man. I mean, we gotta keep it within the realm of reality, and then we gotta.
Yeah, they're 10. You know what I mean? They know you ain't a cat. You know. Right.
That's some of this is home. Some of this is home training, though. You know, like some of this is just straight basic home training, man.
Well, you know what, SL, but it's deeper than that, SL. It's a lot of people, man, enabling their kids too. You see what I'm saying?
And that's the part where I was going with it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Just to chime off what Charlo was just saying, like, if a parent is preparing their child to go to school, to, like, you should know already, like, if you sent your child to school saying that there was a cat, that your child is not going to have a good day. So I feel like a parent, you know, it's okay if you play like that at home, but you shouldn't prepare your child to think that it's going to be okay. You put that type of pressure on society to have 30 or 40 other children not laugh at this one kid, and you know that they're going to do this.
Well, you know, that's where we start talking about the mental health side of things. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And where's the family's mental health? I ain't talking about the kid. I'm talking about the family, because know, it's too much blind eye turning going on. And another thing, when I get into a deeper conversation I can have with you all, I really don't. At school, I start talking about the breakdown of the silent generation, the baby boomers, Generation X, millennials, and then them cats after that, you know. And think about this, the silent generation, okay? You born, the cutoff is like pretty much 1951, right? You was told a child is to be seen, not heard, okay? So you got all kind of weird stuff going on. That baby better not say nothing against that pastor, that priest, that cardinal, nobody, okay? You better not speak against them, okay? The parents gonna beat you down. They're gonna take them back to him, let them beat you down. So you had that going on. So now the baby boomers kind of got that in their mind too, like, you know, child be seen, not heard, okay? But when you start getting into us, that Generation X type deal, we like, no, I ain't gonna beat my kid like that, man. You see what I'm saying? Because you ain't have to beat me like that, you know? But what happened, we still had to work as well. So now we going to work, who the kid left with? Grandparents, the baby boomer. So now, or the silent generation. So now the kids left with them, and guess what? The baby boomer or the silent generation grandparents feel guilty. They like, man, you know what? I went too hard on Shag, man. I went too hard on him. You know what? I could have did different because I'm getting closer to meeting God than I am to being a kid again. So now, guess what? I'm gonna spoil the grandbaby because I'm trying to make up for how I did my own child. Okay. So now the kid get two different doctorates, two different constitutions. So now whose constitution is it? Is it grandma and granddaddy or is it the parent? But I'm with the teacher all day at school. Then after school, my grandma and granddaddy pick me up. Then my parent pick me up. I'm asleep. Then they put me in the bed, take me home. Then we do this cycle over and over again. So now who calling the shots? You see what I'm saying? So now the kids got two different doctrines. Okay. So now the kid is confused from the rip. Okay. Because grandma said you couldn't have no, mama said you couldn't have no cookies. Grandma said you could. So now who you gonna roll with? Who you gonna roll with? So now when we put that into the mindset of these kids, what's their doctrine? Who can tell them what to do? Because a lot of us notice, man, the parent be screaming at the kid, holler at the kid ain't listening. Grandmama come over there, granddaddy come over there, man, they stop immediately. Then some of us is like, man, you know what? I told my son, Paw, that he can't have no cookies. So now me and Paw arguing. So what the kids seeing nowadays, and you got a lot of that going on, the kids got broken constitutions. So what's what? So now we talking about that bullying. Well, I saw daddy bully granddaddy. Well, I saw granddaddy bully daddy. You know what I mean? So now what we got going, so it's a lot of things people don't even talk about as far as that's concerned, you know? But like us, like I said, a lot of us still working and stuff like that. A lot of our kids with the grandparents. So what doctrine are they getting, man? You know what I mean? Are they getting the child to be seen, not heard? Are they getting, baby, go ahead, just eat all the whole pack of cookies, man, because I feel guilty for what I did, not raising my child right. You know what I mean?
So you think maybe like a lot of the issues that we're seeing nowadays is kind of stems from maybe like a breakdown of the core family in a way? Because I mean, that's kind of what you're saying right there, right? Because the parents can't be there. They got so many other people raising your children. Absolutely. That you're confusing that generation. And then you put on top of that social media and this in the stress that comes from that, which we didn't have. That adds just another layer of confusion and anxiety and stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
So I can see that. I can see that assessment. I don't know. What you think, man? Oh, sorry.
And if we go deeper, let's talk about the Welfare Act, right? Y'all remember that Welfare Act? You remember what the rules was to that Welfare Act back in 1971, 78, whatever year it was? Remember the daddy couldn't be in the crib for the parents to get the welfare?
I didn't know about that.
What you mean as far as taking the father out the home?
Oh yeah, father couldn't be in the crib. So now you got mama at the crib. She need that check. Daddy got to go to the liquor store down the street or whatever when he come back. But what's that doing to mama mind? Mama don't need old boy no more. So now that kid ain't got his daddy no more. You know what I mean?
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So now kid ain't got his daddy no more. He got a broken home, man. He got two different constitutions, if not four, because he might see his papa or his granddaddy might see his daddy on the weekends. He got his parents. Then mama, she got her parents. And this kid got 4 different doctrines up in here. So now what's really going on? When we talk about this breakdown, you know, so it get deeper and deeper and deeper, you know what I mean? And then we can take it back all the way back to them boats.
Would you say that the cyberbullying then is more prevalent in poor Black communities, or is that what you're saying?
No, that's across the table. Because I got some statistics, man. It's 9 out of 10 people been cyberbullied now, going forward from the age of pretty much, I think it was 1975 to now, man. I'm talking about 9 out of 10. So when they consider cyberbullying, you got your social media, you got your emails, you got your text messages, you got your Facebook posts, you know what I mean? And what do you consider cyberbullying, man? Man, this is the dumbest concept ever. How could you vote for Joe Biden? How could you vote for Kamala Harris You stupid. They consider that a sign of cyberbullying. So now, will it snowball down? Yeah, he is stupid, man. Let me tell you why he's stupid. Yeah, you know what? Let me add on top of that so it keeps going. So everybody said, video games, man. The video game's ridiculous, man. You know, and if the kid can't read, that's a good thing almost because they can't read what the other people saying. But video games going crazy. You ever heard your kid playing that game, man? What they saying? Even adults. I mean, I'm guilty. Hell, I've been talking reckless to cats playing Madden in college football before. You know what I mean? But guess what? I'm behind the screen. They don't see me, man. I'm like this. You don't know who I am, you know. But now the thing with that cyberbullying, and here's the rough part about it: you can have a 65-year-old man cyberbullying a 7-year-old kid.
Yeah,
you would never know because you had him behind the screen. So now that's what makes the cyberbullying super traumatic. This 65-year-old man been bullied all his life, but the only power he got is on this video game.
Something
That's
just happened with
right there. And now he bullying everybody. But now somehow the server hooked up. Well, 65-year-old man who lying about his age, meet your 7-year-old baby, talking all kind of crazy to your baby. So now, did you hear your baby getting talked to when he was playing Minecraft or Roblox or Fortnite? No, you didn't. But your baby acting different. Now he ready to kill. Now he ready to tear the whole house up. What's wrong with him? Well, he don't want to tell mama and daddy. Man, this some dude online just bullied the hell out of me, man. They don't want to say that, but you know, it's a change in their attitude. So now that cyberbullying, man, it's a hell of a poison, man. And it's an unstoppable poison. The same thing like AI. You know what I mean? Think about this AI, man. AI, who programming this AI? Who programming it? You know what I mean? Is it going to be, what's that? Skytech? What's that from the Terminator? Was it Skytech?
Skynet.
Skynet. Was it going to be some dude from Skynet programming this AI? Who going to program it? So that's what make it even more dangerous coming down the road. And I was telling people, man, this AI going to be crazy because if you got programming skills like me, I could program myself to be the greatest computer programmer ever. And it's going to be out there forever, infinity, on the internet until somebody take it down, until somebody break my code. So now, what we doing with that? Cyberbullying. I just saw some on the news about Facebook, man, Chat GTP. And it said, well, what should you do in this situation? Man, Chat GTP damn near told them to kill themselves. Now, who
That's for Sean. That's for Sean's app.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so just type it in there one day. Just test it out. Take it to the dark side. Be like, hey, man, I'm getting bullied. What should I do? It's gonna say, well, talk it out, whop the man. I'm still getting bullied.
I didn't think about it like that, man. I really didn't. I didn't think about it in the context of all that text messaging, emails, AI, and all that. So that's really informative. I mean, is there any signs and stuff that you could maybe think of that we could look out for with the children? Is if they're being bullied or if they are bullying, is there any type of signs that you notice that are kind of prevalent?
You know what? We got to get back to the round table, man. We got to get back to the point. Let me ask you all this. I'm gonna ask you all this question. I ask everybody this. When the last time in a whole month have you had dinner without somebody having that cell phone at the table? Have any of us had that for a month? Let's just say 2 weeks.
My wife hates that. She do it too, and she hates it.
Hey. My kids hate it. I tell them every once in a while, I got an iPad there, I got a cell phone there, so I get it. You know what I mean? But you're right. I can't say I went a whole month. It's supposed to be a rule, but
so we gotta get old school again. We gotta go back old school, man, and it's gonna be tough, man, to put these electronics down. Because hell, I want to see what the best price was on Amazon. I got my fantasy football going. You know what I mean? I got this going, stocks, all this kind of stuff. You know, you want to look at it, but when do we have this communication, man? When we have this communication, you know, when do we sit down with kids and say, hey, man, is everything straight? Anything we need to talk about? No, Dad, everything's fine. You see what I'm saying? Because how much do you know your kid? Because we all cranking at least 8 hours into that phone or that internet a week, at least 8, okay? Unless we live in a bunker somewhere with no internet. You know, people don't want to live there no more. So now, how many conversations are we really having with our kids? How much do we know our kids? How much do we know our wives? How much do we know our husbands? All this kind of stuff, because we buried into these phones. You know what I mean? We buried into these computers. So now what's really going on? I tell people, man, we're going to have to really detach ourselves from that, which is going to be damn near impossible, because I talked about that dopamine, okay? Here, I get that Amazon package. I'm charged up, okay? Dopamine effect. Y'all get that Amazon package, dopamine effect. You like, oh, man, we got these new mics coming for the podcast. Dopamine effect, you see what I'm saying? But how much can we put that to the side and say, hey, man, let's sit down and talk to our kids directly. So when I come to these schools and I come to these families and say, man, look, man, I got to set some time apart to say, hey, man, let's talk. Let's find out what's really going on, especially with these babies, because they so used to saying, "Oh, nothing's going on, everything's fine," you know, because they think they can handle it. But no, what's really going on, man? What's really going on with that game of Fortnite? Well, I was really hurt when he shot me in the back with that laser gun or something like that. Well, son, do you realize that's just a game? Do you understand that's just a game? And you playing it for a few hours or something like that, you know? Think about with us with Nintendo, man, we was unsupervised, man. Remember our fingers used to be swole up? Cats having asthma attacks from blowing up cartridges? Well, nobody watching that, man. And it's the same cycle going now, but we got to get back to that old school cycle, and it might be past the point of no return at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. You got a question, Excel?
No, I was just listening to Shag Cook, man. But I will. It did bring to my mind, you know, Rashawn just asked about any signs for the children. I had read something today where it said something interesting, like if your children are jumpy around text and notifications, or like if they don't want to use the computer in front of you, or something else that they mentioned, but or if they use the computer for fun, and it was something about that, something like that. That they use the computer for fun, and then well, all of a sudden they just don't be using it like they usually do. You know what I'm saying? I guess that would be a sign or something like that. You know, like
My baby already know. Don't even try to hide me. Daddy coming. I don't play with that online predator stuff or none of that, homeboy. I watch everything come through there like,
Even still, like Shag touched on this a little bit earlier too. Like even still, that would be something that would be uncomfortable for a parent. I mean, for a child to wonder, because I mean, you still got to kind of admit that it still could be uncomfortable for a child.
She could be 21. I'm still in that boy. Like, hey, what?
Oh yeah,
let this man talk, man. Let that talk. Chavo like, no.
But you gotta have that balance, Chalo. You gotta have that balance where they still can talk to you, man, and that's the thing. Man.
Yeah, I know. I'm cracking jokes.
No, I already know, Chalo. I know, but I'm just saying. And they don't even see the red signs, man. You know, and like I say, man, you know, they don't see the signs, man. Your kid, man. First he was wearing nice colors, now he wearing that black jacket, black fingernails. You like, damn, what's wrong with him?
What's going on?
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He asking you about, you know, that gun magazine with the 45 on the cover, like, damn, you know, and the parents don't even know some changing before their eyes. Because look, they stuck on Amazon, man. Want to see if that package is gonna be there. You know?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, man. So, you know, I try to tell people, man, you know, we come out to different events and stuff like that. And like I say, talking to, you know, the community engagement, man, just get the babies together and we just talk about it. Let them talk about it, you know, get them the floor and talk about it, man. You ever had an experience about this, that, and that, you know? And then you'll be shocked when some of these kids say, man, there was a dude online, man, he kept calling me an N-word and stuff like that. Well, do you think what do you think his background was? Well, he was an African American, you know what I mean? So now you got some 40-year-old dude calling your 10-year-old baby an N-word, you know what I mean? You know, you can't, or your baby cussing somebody else out. You know, these kids, they get a different persona when they're online too. You know what I mean? These kids are monsters. I heard my son talk real reckless. He going to Bible study, but you cuss buddy out. You know what I mean? Now, you a hypocrite, you know? But we really got to sit down and talk with them, man. And I just try to have we have group circles where the parents on the outskirts, you know what I mean? And the kids in the circle, and they just breaking it down. And the parents just looking like, man, I ain't know it was like that for my son, man. I ain't know that Fortnite was that serious. I ain't know that Minecraft was that serious, you know?
So what you're saying is the answer is pretty simple. It's to put down all these electronics and quit talking through these screens and actually have a real conversation with your children and the rest of your family, like a real face-to-face. That'd be the biggest solution to this type of epidemic that's going on.
Yeah,
I think that's a good point, man. I think you make a lot of good points. That's a lot of good knowledge. Me as a parent did not know about. And
tripping your dopamine too, now, you know. Yeah. If I said all four of us got to put our cell phones in a box, which one of us gonna crack first? That's the question. Who gonna crack first?
Man, my money is on that boy. My money is on my phone.
Hey, mine too. That's hell too. Like,
somebody have to pay me to put my phone down. Like,
and that's what I'm saying, man. And that's the deal we dealing right. Same thing with me, man. Look, man, the watch. Look, at least let me keep the watch. I gotta hear that boy vibe. You know what I mean?
something, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm gonna have your information in the description part of the video. If you want to let everybody know, you know, about your organizations and you know different stuff you got going on, stuff you might have coming up, go ahead and cook with that.
Yeah. So what happens is that I work with different schools. So like, you know, suburban schools, city schools, different schools. And then what I'm doing is now at the schools I come out and I have this Think Safe event. And I talk about bullying, cyberbullying. And, you know, I talk to them, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to take it outside the schools. Now it's time to go to the communities with it. And we can make stronger connections through the communities because I'll say, you know, schools keep me segregated within them schools, you know, and I'm going to go here in 2026. I'm going to go here and just have a community event called the Think Safe event, man. I get different vendors to come out, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, Humana, these different insurance companies, just to think safe about bullying and cyberbullying, but other stuff too, because I tell people, man, listen, man, we talk about the bullying and cyberbullying, but what's the mental health of that parent too? You know what I mean? What's the mental health of that parent? It's called centric circles, okay? Centric circles is when the husband and wife arguing in the car and the baby just absorbing it all. And then that circle that they had, them two arguing and stuff like that, jumps on the kid. So now the kid come to school, guess what he gonna do? Argue with the cat next to him. And it's almost like that movie Falling. Y'all remember that movie with Denzel?
Yeah.
The spirit jumped off and jumped off and jumped off. It was a centric circle. So talking about that kind of stuff, because like I say, man, it's just more than the bullying and cyberbullying. It's a lot of stuff that's going on in the household with them parents. It's a lot of stuff going on with the grandparents. And do kids know how to identify this stuff and can they write it down? So like I said, when I had these different events, you know, community events, I had the kids draw. I try to have them draw it out. Draw what you're thinking, man. Draw how you feel. You know what I mean? Because and they're arguing with that drawing, okay? Mommy and daddy can't cover that up, okay? Because a lot of times, you know, the kid be talking, daddy be like, you know, that Ike Turner look like, hey, you better not say nothing, you know what I mean? But daddy, if you going upside mama's head, how you think that's affecting that baby?
Right.
You know, if you cussing mom out 24/7 and she full fat bees, you know what I mean? How's that affecting that baby? So now that baby get online, and guess what he's saying on that game? Y'all some fat bees. And then they take that same poison, they go to school, and guess what? You a fat bee. Now they get suspended, but now somebody call our daughter's a fat bee. Now we ready to come up to the school. But where did it start from? It ain't start from that baby right there. It started 3 steps back. You know what I mean? So just having different events coming up in 2026 to just get the communities out, talk about the mental health piece of it, talk about the bullying, cyberbullying piece of it, and just get people to understand so they can start looking at themselves. And I'm going to leave y'all with this story right here, man. I was in a bowling league in Indiana, man. And I sucked as a bowler, okay? I sucked, okay? I did the league for 10 years, and I went from the worst to the best bowler in the league. But about my second year, I started turning the corner a little bit, and I would win these pots we had, right? So the dude running the pot, I get the money, and I just like, all right, thanks, boom, I bounce. So I did that about 3 or 4 times. And one day, one dude on this team said, hey, asshole, you gonna tip the man? And I'm like, damn, wait, what? Why you talking to me like that? You know what I mean? Like, tip the man. He like, yeah, he run the pot. He don't get paid for it. You supposed to tip him. That's customary. But here's the thing. I'm like, damn, okay. So I gave him a little tip. But when I went back, I'm like, damn, you know what? I never knew that. We talking about, I'm 35, 36. I never knew to tip the man. You know what I mean? So this is something I didn't know. So a lot of times in society, we always talking about, we think everybody should know this, they should know that. No. People don't know. Somebody got to educate them. Somebody got to say, hey, no. That ain't right. That ain't how that go, because we assume everybody like us. We see everybody through our own lens, okay? He's supposed to be smart like me. He's supposed to know better. No. Maybe they don't know better. So now let's change our approach up to say, hey, Rashawn, man, look, man, you know, you can't put that grease in the sink at the clog the sink up versus saying, hey, Rashawn, man, why you put that grease in the sink, man? You retired. What's going on with you? You clogged the damn sink up versus asking. So now when we talk about different events and stuff like that, are we building people up and asking them? Or are we being combative about it? You know what I mean? Bro, you don't wear no Adidas socks with no Jordans. What is you on? You goofy or something? You know what I mean? Maybe they didn't know, you know? So when we come out, we want to educate people to say, hey, man, before you take this hostile approach, thinking everybody's seeing it like you, say, you know what? This person might not know. They might not get it. They might have a deficiency. They might be hung up on the hook with some stuff, so we can go ahead and bring it down a little bit and say, hey, you know what, Chalo, did you know the bandwidth needs to be XYZ, ABC, 1, 2, 3, versus saying, man, Chalo, you know that bandwidth's supposed to be there. Chalo, like, man, no, how would I know that? How would I know? You the one teach videography, not me. You know what I mean? So just simple stuff like that. So I just try to, educate the parents to bring it down some, man. Bring it down some. So this is stuff will stay with them for life versus, like I say, just dropping that hammer on, So like I say, these different community events, I'm going to go ahead and set up in 2026 and just try to go ahead and break it down because, like I said, if we bring it down some, we good to go, Look at the state of the country right now, man. You know what I mean? Everybody thinks somebody's supposed to know it. Man, they don't. They don't. They've never been shown. They've never been taught. But like I say, looking out your lens, man, they supposed to know it because guess what? Your parents might have beat it in you or they instilled it in you, but they don't get it. So then how do we move about that? You know what I mean? So these are just different events. But like I say, with the events, man, I come out different school districts. I got a program called Invisible Bullying where I just talk about that, break it down for teachers. I try to educate the teachers and the staff and everybody to know what it looked like because sometimes the teachers be the bully, man. You know what I mean? Because once again, looking out their lens, I know this boy is not in third grade, don't know his ABCs. Well, did you know that boy been in 18 different foster homes? Did you know that? Did you know that boy lost his father to violence? His mother's on drugs. Did you know that? You know what I mean? Before you jump down so hard and like, man, this baby's supposed to know this, did you know their background? So I try to come out to them parents in these schools and say, hey, man, get to understand who you're dealing with, man, because before you drop that hammer, you don't know what a person done dealt with, man. You don't know what they done been through. You don't know what they done had happen to them or whatever. So that's why I come out to the schools with the invisible bullying and I educate the staff first. Then I educate the parents and then I educate the students. And I stay with the parents. They don't get it either, man. The parents be off the chain, man. Cuss them out, man. You know, how many times all four of us, I know we didn't seen this before. You at the grocery store, this lady cussing her baby out. And you like, damn, baby, what is you doing? That little girl 6 years old, why you talking to her like that? You know what I mean? Or you cussing that little boy out. Boy, pull your pants up. He's 6. He don't know what he's doing. But they're looking out their lens. So I try to educate them. And I guilt trip them a little bit too. But just to say, hey, man, your baby don't get it, man. You know what I mean? And guess what, man? You won't be happy until something happened. Well, you wish you could have said that to your baby. You know, you wish you could have said, hey, man, I want to make a difference here. You know what I mean? So I just try to use the compassion and the empathy approach to it, man. You know what I mean? Because like I say, man, life is life, and man, and stuff happens. So when you have an opportunity to go ahead and get it right, why you got it right there. So I just tell people it's the way you talk to people, man. That's how you get this. I mean, that's the secret to this life. Whatever you want, if you know how to talk to people, you're going to get it. But like I say, when I come out, I just try to educate them on these different things, man, and just try to go ahead and build their self-esteem up and try to get them to look at it out of different lens versus being so combative, you know, like the old folks, man. Y'all remember when we were shorties, man, your father, your mama, man, they just, everything was stupid. No, ma, it's not stupid, ma. It's not. I can be this computer engineer. I could be this biomedical engineer. I could be this civil engineer. I could be this teacher. I could be this principal. I could be this superintendent, you know what I mean? Without all that negative stuff. So now just going through it, man, just re-educating them, breaking them down and saying, man, look, man, just change it up, man. Just be more positive with your kids. You're going to get better results. You know what I mean? You be negative with your kids, guess what? They go to college, they move to the West Coast, they never come back. Think about how many people dealing with that, man. We all know parents, man, I ain't seen my kid in months. Is it the kid or was it you? Did you run your kid up out of there? Or did you have it to where you had an open line of communication with your baby and say, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like we talking about, like I was talking about with the cat, you know what I mean? Man, you building your baby up, telling your baby they a cat, and you get mad about it to the point when your baby go off and as people tease them, that's the first kid that has the best possible chance of committing suicide, believe it or not. Stuff like that, you know, these fake ideologies and stuff like that. So we just got to educate these parents, man, and these staff members and these teachers because they dealing with the kids, man. We got to educate them because they don't get it, man. So, like, I'm willing to bet right now, y'all got a totally different view of life when it comes to this stuff now. You know what I mean? But how much further can we go with this? So now with you all knowing this stuff now, you're going to educate somebody else and we're going to keep going about it. But there's so many people that don't get it, man. So just moving forward, then like I said, we're trying to make a difference, you know, and I'll probably partner up with you guys and how you out to do a live podcast or something like that. Well,
that's why we had you on the podcast, because you just wanted to educate, man. And you brought a world of knowledge out here, brother. And I really appreciate that, man. Seriously.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you have no idea, man. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Thank you all.
Hey.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man. We appreciate you coming out. Yeah, you did. Like I said, I didn't know nothing about it, and we appreciate you coming on, not only enlightening us, but enlightening our audience, because it's an important subject to be talking about. Because we had started off, we were talking about the mental health of Trump a few episodes ago, and then this episode kind of leads more into the mental health of our children, because that might be the root cause of the whole thing is mental health. So we might need to get into that, and I also think we need to get them young. You got to get them young before they get into they know everything stage, and you can't tell them nothing. So with that said, I appreciate you, man, Shag. We're gonna
Appreciate you.
We're gonna get together. We're gonna get together and do bigger and better things. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure your wife subscribe.
Absolutely.
Sean, you got something to say?
No, man, appreciate you again, Shag, for hopping on, brother. Seriously, man. I know wasn't last minute, but you were more than willing. All I had to do was ask, and you got right on. So that was awesome, man. Thank you.
Always, gentlemen. Always a pleasure.
Yo.
Take us out,
man.
brother.
Yeah, man. That I think that's definitely a conversation to be had, man. That cyberbullying, because right about now, man, it is out of control, man. And trolling, dissing, child solicitation, all that. So yeah, definitely a conversation to be had, man. Glad you was able to be on the show with us, man. And shout out to all the new subscribers, all the viewers, and all that, man. We out of here, man.
All right, peace.